Great. Okay, guys, today I'll be interviewing Rosemary. How do you say your middle name?
Nonny.
Nonny. Nice.
Nonny.
Nonny. Nice.
Yeah,
Uh,
that'll be Rosemary Nonny Knight. RNK.
okay. Okay. Thank you so much. I've been watching how you do social media for a while, and that's really how I really admire you for your hustle with social media. I saw you on Instagram. I saw you on Medium. I saw you on Twitter. Like you blew my mind with that one. So, can you introduce to yourself who you are to the audience, please?
Okay, I'm Rosemary Nonny Knight, RNK for short. And I am a prosperity minister, or I am the prosperity minister, is what I've decided. I work with people to, I equip them to prosper. So in their relationships, in their health, in their wealth, in the work that they do, and in their spirituality as well. So my goal is 334,000 people worldwide to achieve financial independence. But more than that, to achieve it, doing or living to their true design, living to who they actually are, as opposed to just doing what they feel they have to do in order to get by. And as a result of living to their true design, they impact or influence the world around them, okay? I think the world we live in needs people to come alive to their true nature so that everybody, so the world changes. Okay, I have this big picture that 334,000 people in different parts of the world, all living their true design life, influencing people, influencing the world, and starting from a grassroots level to change the world. Okay, so that's me. Ultimately.
You have a beautiful energy. You're very energetic, right? I love it, and you have a sense of humor. I love it too. That's great. How did you begin your what was it, minister?
Prosperity minister.
Yeah, how did you get?
How did I get to here? Okay, so I started my career as a pharmacist, actually. So I was a pharmacist. I knew that I didn't really want to be a pharmacist for the rest of my life, but I thought I had to be a pharmacist for the rest of my life because, well, you know, you train, you spend all that money and time. And frankly, there's a heck of a lot of backstory before I became a pharmacist. So it felt like I had to be a pharmacist. And coming from a third world country, which is where I lived for most of my youth, you appreciate education. So I got there and I thought this is where I was going to have to stay. Except there was something inside of me that I kept thinking, well, I would like to do something else. I dabbled a bit at business. I felt I wanted to do some kind of business, but I was too comfortable. I was a pharmacist. Well, what do I need to do business for, basically? And then, you know, because as I said, there's a lot of backstory, which ultimately led to me, even though I was a pharmacist, which was supposed to solve all my money problems, it's actually, I was digging a deeper and deeper ditch of debt for myself. So I got to being pregnant with my first child and went bankrupt. So 2 months before giving birth to my first child, I went bankrupt. I got depressed. I felt like a failure. I felt like, oh my gosh, life is over as I know it forever. And in fact, I didn't really feel anything. I woke up the morning after bankruptcy, completely dead inside. Just this feeling of, what's the point? What's the point? But anyway, at that point became my daughter and then my two daughters after that. And so looking after them for 4 years, I went through this period of darkness and depression. But I came out of that 6 weeks after having my last baby when I suddenly realized that I'm still broke. I still don't have that much money. I am still going to have to go back to working full time if I don't do something different. So, Rosemary, what you gonna do, basically? So at that point, I stepped into property or real estate, if you're American, because they told me that you could start with no money down. And as I had no money, that seemed to be a sensible thing to do, except it wasn't. As much as you can do certain strategies without much money, I actually decided I was going to get some training. So that training cost me about 10 grand. So even though I didn't have 10 grand, I just knew that this time I had to be serious. I wasn't going to dabble at business this time. I was going to make it work. There was no way my daughters were going off to nursery all the time. There was no way I was going to be working 60 to 80 hours every single week again, because I'm trying to keep my head above water. So I need to figure out another way. So it was at that point I went and got a mentor, paid a heck of a lot of money out, learned all the strategies, really got my ass off the ground. I did everything. And within a year, so that first year, there was a lack of confidence. There was a lack of, oh my gosh, it was really hard. And that first year I won a Porsche Boxster actually. So at the end of that year, as a result of building my business, I got awarded this Porsche Boxster, which made me realize again that actually, you know what, Rosemary, when you really focus and get your mind on something, you can make it work. And then within 6 months of that, I managed to replace my income using a certain strategy with property. And then people started asking if I can help them out with their stuff, I was working with a coach who then asked, what do you want to do? I said, well, I kind of want to be a coach, but I don't think I can do it yet. I need to wait until I'm at least 72. And then he says, why don't you just start now? That feels more like the thing you want to do, which was true. Property was a sidestep. Again, it was one of those, this seems practical. So let's do the practical thing again, rather than the, what does my heart really want? So I stepped into coaching people at this point, still doing my property stuff on the side. We still do property anyway, but it's more of an investment strategy now rather than a business, an active business thing. But from then, I started as a business coach because, again, it seemed more practical to be a business coach than to be a life coach, which just seemed so woo, basically. And then at that point, and since then, I kept stripping off the layers, getting more brave, getting more bold about how I want to show up, who I want to be, what I want to do, who I want to work with, how I want to help them, and continue to grow in confidence and realize, you know what? If I'm going to live this life and try to tell people to live to their true design, I best be doing it myself as well. Okay. And so that's how finally, still don't really like the term life coach. So I call myself a prosperity minister because I do very much believe that prosperity is everyone's divine right. So I want to support them in living a prosperous life, all over kind of life. So not just business, not just career, not just anything, all your life. Prosperity in all areas. So that is the shortened version of how I got to here, basically.
You know what? It's just when you talk, it's just like you impact my energy. It's like, wow,
Good.
All right, let's go.
That's the goal, man. That's the goal.
You also have a business mindset that is pretty incredible. How I can see it. Like, you have this way with people too, and I can sense it. Even if we're just connecting with the internet, I can sense that you can see farther ahead. How do you develop that mindset, that business mindset that you have?
How do I develop it? I don't know. Practice? I think anything can be practiced. When you say business mindset, I don't know. I don't see my mindset as a business mindset as such. I just see it as this is what I want my life to look like. I'm tired of settling for less. And so at some point I made a decision that I don't want to settle for less any longer. So I need to figure out how I'm going to make it work. And so therefore I just keep throwing myself at it until it works. Ultimately, I get the support I need. I do whatever I need to do to keep showing up, I suppose I did get to a point where I stopped dabbling. I stopped dabbling at things and started, no, this is what I want. And so I'm going to, because I suppose I do believe that my desires, my vision, the vision I have for my life is my permission to go forward for it. I always tell my clients, your vision is your permission. Because the vision, because I used to hold back thinking, oh, I had to wait for who knows what. I had to wait until someone gave me permission. And I was brought up Christian as well. There was this whole, you wait from the Lord forever and this and that and the other. And I finally realized that actually, you know what? The universe, the divine, higher power, whatever you want to call it, is actually waiting on me to step up and decide, what do I want? As soon as I decide what I want, and not just decide, as in just make a simple choice. It's a choice you make over and over and over again. And then I start showing up and actually taking action towards it. Then things start to move. Then the universe backs me up because I'm showing myself to be committed to it. So I suppose it's a commitment. I finally got to the point of no return. I am not returning to my old life. I am going to figure out a new life, no matter how crazy or whatever it gets. I am going to keep moving forward, okay? And I'm going to do whatever I need to do to keep moving forward. And there have been some crazy dark times, for sure, basically. But unlike before, where it was like, oh, I'll just fall back on being a pharmacist, this time it was like, no, I know what I want, and I'm not going to settle for any less. And I suppose those are the kind of people I work with. You get to, because before I went bankrupt and depressed and had children and all of this stuff, I would have sounded excited, but you would have looked at my life and realized I wasn't really doing anything towards what I said I wanted. But then everything switched around finally, because I hit that rock bottom. I made a decision, and again and again and again and again, as many times as I need to until it's like, no, there's no going back. This is my life. I am going to make it work. I'm going to get the help I need. I'm going to do whatever I need to do. It is working. And that's it. And I suppose that's the mindset I have right now. It's just, it's working. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to where I want to go. And I suppose that's what I help people with as well, is helping them get very clear about what they want and help them to get very determined to get it. And as you say, my energy does influence people. It does help people feel a bit more like it's possible, because it is, man. So.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you. Before, when you were talking about that, you were like, your back is against the wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so many people, like, because so many people, when you grow older, you expect less and less, right? And most people want to be like, they just want to go back, but you have this where you don't have any, like, what they call it, backup plan. You don't have that. You just.
No.
You're committed, and you're right. That's why I think that's the missing key to the secret, right? So many people, fail for the secret. And look, I watched like Secret like many times, but it failed to address a lot of things that they need to address. Like, you need to take risks. You need a lot of things. That's why I'm passionate. That's why I'm passionate about changing the mindset of the law of attraction, but also.
Yeah.
How can you help people how can you get people out of the mindset of expecting less and wanting more and not going back to the way it was? Because people have the mindset of conflict, right? Oftentimes I listen to, they like, what they want is way too hard, right? And what they, the society or safe path is much more easier. And how can you direct them in that direction, as you went through it and you're committed? What can you tell them?
Okay, I know that there are people at different, as you say, there are people at different levels of life. So, okay, I wouldn't necessarily work one-on-one with someone who hadn't already made the decision to move forward, okay? Because I know that if someone had found me as a pharmacist pre all of this bankruptcy and depression, and they were trying to coach me, I wouldn't have been that serious. I would have, whatever, and then I just kind of returned to my old life. What I do instead, so one-on-one work, however, when I'm working one-on-one with someone, I check to make sure that they're actually serious. Actually, for someone to actually sign up with me, they already know that they want to, okay? So, but then for me, I know that people are at different levels of their life. They want something more, but they're not sure if they have the courage, if they can, if they're going to burn all their bridges. There's all of this stuff going on in their mind. So what I do is, through my free content, I'm educating people. I'm reminding people who they want to be. I am doing all that stuff. That's why I'm very passionate and very, I'm throwing the stuff out there as much as possible, trying to get people's attention for those who are ready to start thinking about moving forward. And then I also create things like the Opulence Circle is something that I do, which is so cost effective that it gives people time. So they come out and do life with me. So they get this energy all the time, basically in there. But I've made it so cost effective that people have time. Because that's what I sometimes think, sometimes people are wanting to buy into the, and I used to do this too, pre all of my crazy, all my breakthrough moments. People want to buy into the, oh, it's all going to happen in 3 seconds flat. If it doesn't happen in 3 seconds, then it's not, oh, well, maybe it's, and that, the truth of the matter is life isn't that way. For most of us, we've spent what, over 30 years, over 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 years building a life and getting stuck in that life. And now you want to break free. You kind of have to give yourself time. Give yourself time to kind of start to, okay, I can do this. I can move. I can. There is hope. I can do this. And start doing little things, stretch yourself. And so I create this environment called the Opulence Circle where you can do that. There's time for you to start stripping off the crazy layers that life has placed on you. Start seeing that there's a different way to think, blah, 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 blah. And then you step into moving into doing more of the things that you want to do. Because that's, yeah, it's the truth. If someone's lived this on this planet for more than 30 years, the chances are you kind of got stuck in some areas. There's going to be some areas of your life where you've taken on crazy beliefs about what is possible for you or what is not possible for you or any of that stuff. And so my thing is this, come into the Opulence Circle and I can help you see that there's a different way, that actually those things you're dreaming about, you are capable of creating them. You just forgot because life with its craziness came, and life can be crazy sometimes. Life can be tough. For a lot of people, it can be tough, but there's still a dream inside of them. And so for me, it is, let's ease you into your true design. Let's ease you into a different life. Yes, for some, it will be like this moment they see it, they'll be like, yes. But I know for me, it wasn't like that. I'm not that one. I'm not one of those people. I'm one of those people that have to take the hardest route. So basically, but you know, I'm learning. I get better at this. I'm better at releasing the struggle, releasing the idea that I can't do anything. I can. And so can anybody. That's the thing. I see everybody as incredibly powerful. I don't buy into their stories. I don't buy into their, oh, I can't do this. Of course you can. You contain the divine. Of course you can do anything you set your mind to, man. So it's like, I don't see all of that. I understand that you might think you can't. Well, come into the circle and I will show you that you can. And then maybe we'll work together more one-on-one, or maybe we won't because you won't need to, because you'll suddenly realize who you are. Okay, and you'll step into that, and I'm there anyway. I'll be supporting you and all that kind of stuff. So that's the way I see it. Because I recognize that for people that are at different stages, I don't do. Yeah, I'm going to be blunt. I don't do 3-second transformations. Yes, it can happen, but for most people, it's not going to be a 3-second thing. It's going to be longer than that. It's going to take time because it took you 30 years to get here. Can you commit a year of your life to doing something different, to trying to think differently? Because if I can change your way of thinking, you will automatically start doing different things just because you're thinking differently about what is possible for you. And that will change you. And you won't even recognize it's happening. You'll just get to the end of the year and look back and think, oh my gosh, how did that happen? Because you gradually allowed yourself to change, to heal, to grow, to do different things, to get more bold, to get more brave. Next thing you know, wow, life has changed. But it's not the 3-second transformation. But yeah, so that's how I do it. That's how I would because there's a whole process I go through with people, but ultimately it is immersion. That's my key here, is immersion in a different way of thinking, of acting, and then and of being, really. So once I immerse you in a different way of thinking about things, you won't even realize that you're starting to think differently, except you'll suddenly notice that the people around you are kind of getting more negative. But actually the truth is you were all negative together. Now you are getting more positive and you'll notice it. Ultimately. So yeah, little by little, you start to change. And that's how I do it with people, is bring them into an environment where it's comfortable enough for you to stick around. So as in cost-wise or anything like that, and make it a good price so that people can stick around. And as they stick around, they cannot help but be immersed in a different way of thinking. And so they change. They don't even realize they're changing, but they change. And that's what I know is my superpower, is that if people hang around me long enough, everything starts to change. Ultimately. So that is my magic thing there. It's really just allowing people to be immersed in a different way of thinking about life, helping them to remember their possibilities, helping them to remember their power, helping them to remember who they are, getting that foundation right, breaking off the crazy foundation that life placed in their lives and put them in a different path. And slowly but surely things change. That's how I do it. That's the secret. Well, I'm glad that this is it. Wow.
Oh, you made my day today. You made my day today.
I'm glad.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. But I can see you are like between. I know what you're saying because we live in a culture where they have instant, right? And we have like instant Amazon 1 day shipping, whatever.
Oh yes.
And then we have we have what video YouTube with instant stuff, instant everything. Yeah. And you're right, absolutely right. It takes time to reprogram our mind and whatever. It takes time. It doesn't happen overnight. And also, I have a sense of have a Tony Robbins and Les Brown together.
I love it. Thank you.
I can take it because we're talking about. Because I listen often with Tony Robbins. He say you should not dabble in business, right? You should master business.
Yeah. And
I listen to you have the energy of Les Brown when he talks. Anything's possible.
It is though. But it is. If I could just help people to remember just what the power inside of us, oh my gosh, then we can change the world, man. We can change the world.
Oh, okay. So become aware of the connection with the source. And how did you reprogram your mind for wealth? I know you touched a little bit. Can you go in depth a little bit more?
Okay, so sorry. So the question was reprogram.
How did you become aware with the connection with the source?
Yeah.
And the second one I'll come later, but just put that one. So yeah.
Okay, so connection with source. Okay, since forever. I was brought up Catholic. Then I changed Christian. I became just Christian when I was about 17 or something. So I've always known of God since I was about 5, 6, 7. Because my father had this car accident that his spine got broken, and so my mom and my dad were away. We were back in Nigeria. We used to have armed robbers visit. There's a whole lot of backstory to that. But being back in Nigeria with my parents away. It was a coach that actually showed me this, that I was a pretty lonely child, but I didn't see it that way at that point. But now I look back and I realize I was a pretty lonely child. And the one way that I found comfort was in God, literally. Okay, so people call it divine source, higher power, intuition. I don't care what you call it. It really doesn't matter. For me, he's Papa. I call him Papa. Okay, so he was the constant in my life. From when I was 6, 7, 5, as long as I can remember, he's been the constant. Now, that did come for a long time with a heck of a lot of religious rules. So it came with a lot of religious rules, which in some ways separated me from just that pure connection. But I'd known that pure connection originally. Then I got caught up in all the religious rules and this and that and the other, and this is the way you have to do it. And if you don't do it this way, blah, blah, blah. But still in the middle of all of that, he was constant. So I've always had that connection. I just didn't always know how to hear back. So I'd be throwing these prayers, just hear me. And I'd always imagine in my mind that I was sitting on his lap and he was loving me. So he was that constant father figure for me. Okay. So when my parents weren't around, he was around. Okay. So that was the thing. It got, as I said, it got mixed up with all the religion stuff. I was Christian, very, very, very Christian. And it was 2005. I'd always wanted, because I've always also been a very logical minded thinker. So everybody else would be having all these spiritual experiences and I'd just be, yeah, I know that the divine is there. I know he loves me, but I don't have all these experiences. I can't really hear anything from him completely. I just know he's there. And I gotta get this vague feeling that he likes me. So ultimately, then come 2005, after lots of, hey, I would really like to hear you back. Okay, I feel as if I'm throwing these words at you, but you're not speaking back, or I can't hear. And I came up across this training actually by a Christian dude about how to hear God. And that made a huge difference in my life, because suddenly my conversation with the divine, with source, became a two-way thing. So it wasn't just me, please help me, help me, help me. It was also, okay, getting responses back. So I suddenly started keeping, well, I'd always kept journals, but my journals suddenly became less of me just, oh my gosh, and more of, this is what I'm thinking. What are you thinking? And then he will say something back and I write it down. And so that was 2005. And I don't know when it was, 2008 maybe. I read The Shack. I don't know if anybody's heard of The Shack, but I read The Shack, and that just like changed my complete perspective. I always knew that the divine loved me. And I'd come, when I came to the UK again at 17, when I came back to the UK, I'd been part of a church where they hugged me. And that was the first time someone hugged me. So that gave me a sense of love again. But then when I read The Shack, it just, oh my gosh, it changed everything in terms of divine source, love specifically. I suddenly realized that what I'd really truly in my heart of heart known about how safe and fully supported I was, how loved I was actually the truth. That changed everything for me. For one, I stepped away from church for a little season just to get that relationship going, because I'd been jumping through hoops, trying to do this and that and the other, trying to be worthy. But the truth is, we're already worthy. We're already loved. We don't need to prove ourselves. We don't need to do any of this stuff. But I had forgotten that in the craziness of man-made rules and dogma and all of this stuff. And so that from 2008 or so, that also really took everything to a whole new level for me, because I suddenly realized that most of the rules that I'd lived by were not created by the divine. They were just men trying to control other men, and no longer did I want to live under those rules. So I took time out from all of the religious scene just to remember that connection. And in remembering that connection, everything else started to open up. It's been up and down for sure, but I am at a place now where it's just, I don't hide it anymore. I know that everything that I've created, everything has come from this connection. I'm working out what I felt about what he believed about money, particularly because I know the next question you're going to ask is about, wealth and money and all of that stuff. And because for a lot of spiritual people, that is an issue. Their connection with source almost gets in the way of their ability to create wealth. And it doesn't have to be that way. There were a lot of questions I didn't ever take directly to source, because I thought, oh, well, this person said it at the front, it must be true. I had to question this stuff. I had to actually take these questions. Okay, what do you actually think about money? Oh, you don't care. Okay, then maybe I don't need to care in the same way that I used to. Basically, maybe I need to see money as a resource rather than some kind of, oh my gosh, whether I'm good enough or not good enough, or maybe I'll be a bad person if I have too much of it, or all of that nonsense that sometimes spiritual people live to. They're not sure if they're allowed to use their gifting to actually to make money. And so that's why they would, because they have this internal thing that money is in some way bad. The only way they can earn money is by doing something they don't like. So that's why they would stay trapped in a job that they don't like, because, well, money is bad. You have to do something you don't like to get it. That's the only way. You cannot do something you love and make money, because that would be, in fact, the part of the church, one of the churches I belonged to at one point, that was their teaching, was that no, you cannot make money from your talents or from your giftings, because that's from the divine. You're not supposed to use it. And if people are going out into the world with that kind of thinking, of course they're going to be trapped in lives they do not like. So for me, it was taking these questions directly to source, working out my hang-ups around money when it came to the divine and source, getting rid of those, okay? And then also the other issues that I picked up from my family. So, because, yeah, with my dad having this car accident that broke his spine and everything getting taken away from us for a bit there, it gave me this lack consciousness. It gave me this, we have to struggle for everything. And who knows, even if you get everything, this will get taken away from you just like that, basically. And so, again, I had to work through that stuff as well in order to get to a place where it's okay. I can receive money doing the things that I like to do. But then also, and this is a big thing particularly for spiritual people, the divine or source or universe, whatever you want to call it, that is your source. That is your supply. The work of your hand it just really comes out of what do you want to do. And if you allow, and you do need to separate this, okay? Because sometimes people think that they can only make money at work or only make money from their business. And so therefore they feel they have to do whatever to get money. But if you truly have faith and trust in source as your source of supply, I've had money just appear literally from nowhere. Where my daughter, who's been living in her room for years, suddenly comes down with an envelope of money that she found in her bedroom. From where? I don't still know. Somebody must have put it there at some point, but she'd been cleaning her room forever. And then suddenly 18 months into living in the house, she finds this money and gives it to me. And at this point, at that point, it was a sign to me that the divine is saying, look here, I can get you whatever you need from wherever. Trust that I am your source, and do the things that you actually want to do. Yes, the money may come through your business, your career, whatever, but it may also come from anywhere. The idea is to be open for it coming from anywhere, that it's the source is your source. All of these are just channels of supply. Yes, you want to make sure I do teach, yeah, you know, that you create as many channels of supply as you can. I'm not saying, oh, I'm just going to sit here on my little chair and wait for the money to turn up. If you wait long enough, I'm sure the divine will find a way of getting money to you. You're just making it unnecessarily hard, basically. So it is possible, but it's just harder. You have to have a heck of a lot more faith to sit on your behind and keep waiting, basically. You could, because this is the thing, we want to live a good, prosperous life, right? So you want to get on with living the life that you actually want to live, knowing that all of your needs, all of your desires will be supplied from somewhere. And it can come from anywhere, because the universe is unlimited in its ability to get you what you want. You just need to set the intention very clearly, because sometimes, again, this is where spiritual people sometimes drop the ball. We don't set the intention as clearly as possible because we're not sure that we're allowed to have it. And so then you're like, yeah, but I am connected to the divine. Yeah, but did you ever really completely commit to, this is what I want? Or did you tell yourself, I'm not allowed to want that, and so I'm not sure that I should ask for it, so I'll just wait, basically. And so you want to set the intention, you want to be clear about what it is that you want, okay, and put it out there. But then you want to trust. You want to be taking the aligned action. So whatever bubbles up inside of you, yes, there are foundational things you can do. In terms of if you're growing a business, of course, there's certain things that you can do, but don't do things out of fear. Don't do things because you think, it's going to make me money, because that's what I was doing with being a business coach, being a pharmacist. Oh, this will definitely make me money. I don't think the thing that I want to do will make money. The truth of the matter is that anything I wanted to do could make me money if I trusted that the source will find a way of getting money to me. But I didn't. And it's something that I've had to continue to come back to, trust. Because for me, trust has been a big issue. I've had a heck of a lot of people destroy my trust, which meant that, yeah, it was hard to trust the divine. But it's a practice. It's a practice. I think I can hear my kids making a heck of a lot of noise. Ignore it. It's a practice. It's a practice. It's a practice. And so I practiced building faith. I practiced building trust. I continue to. And so then I can have faith and trust for bigger and bigger and bigger things. But it starts with, one, the divine is my source, not anything that I do with my hand. I get to live a good, amazing, fulfilling, amazing life, and the supply gets to come from anywhere it wants to. But I get to live life, a good life. I deal with all my hang-ups around money. So as soon as they pop up, because they come up, the divine will get them to your attention if you are willing to clean and clear. So I clean and clear anything that comes to my attention. I'm not digging, because there's always something. If you dig forever, you'll be digging, and there's always something. You don't want to be digging inside of you, navel gazing forever, trying to be perfect. Allow the divine to bring out what needs to be brought out. When it comes out, and especially if you're moving forward, always stretching your comfort zone a bit, something will always come up. You can clean that, and then as you stretch a bit more, something else will come up. You clean that, you keep moving forward, you keep moving forward, you keep moving forward, clearing the crazy beliefs. Any belief that doesn't help you needs to go. I don't care how good it seems. And that's what I've had to do. And sometimes that takes a heck of a lot of courage. If you've believed something for a long time and now you're trying to shake that belief, it's hard. So like for me, that was brought up religious, brought up Christian, there's certain Christian beliefs that I've had to let go of because I knew that they are keeping me from my good. But they seemed like good ideas. And so it was almost scary. Am I going to get that lightning bolt from heaven? Cut me down dead for, for choosing not to believe it anymore. And I had to kind of like, okay, no, the divine actually is love. I can trust him. It's okay. Let it go. Let it go. Let that idea go. And even family beliefs and all of this stuff, there's a lot of beliefs that people just need to shift. As they come up, have the courage to say, you know what? This belief is no longer helping me. I'm going to clean it. I'm going to reframe it. I'm going to get rid of it and choose something that is a bit more empowering for me. And as I do that, as you do that, as we continue to do that, we open ourselves up to more and more prosperity. Because whilst we continue to believe ideas that do not help us, we're closed off. It's like we're closing the door on all of our good. So we want to open the door because I know that the divine or source, whatever you want to call it, is always saying yes. Always saying yes. The answer is always yes. As soon as you set your intentions, you make a decision that this is what you would like in your life, the answer is yes. So the big task you have is to get yourself to a place where you can receive it, where you can allow it into your life. And that is by cleaning and clearing, forgiving, all of that stuff, so that you get to a place where all the prosperity that wants to come to you can make its way to you. So yeah, that's a very long answer to all of your questions there.
Yeah, it's a very long answer, but I was listening, I was consuming, I was like, okay, she just shift my vibration, she just shift my my mind. You know, for a long time you're right, you're absolutely right. I don't know how you're so comfortable with talking about, the spiritual people, because I've been trying to bring that out to my YouTube channel, trying to merge the spirituality together, because you're right. Before I was in the Jehovah Witness, right? Just to test it out.
Okay. Yeah.
I was just to test it out, right? Because by that time I already was spiritually awakened. I know about the law of attraction, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I just want to test. I was in, I was Buddhist, but then I was like, you know what? I'm going to see which religion is right. So I go in there, and I backed away because they were really negative space. They were in a very negative mindset.
Yeah.
I wanted to live. I wanted to have meaning, right?
Yeah.
Because back then I didn't have meaning in life. Mm-hmm. I didn't have ambition. I didn't have goals. I didn't have dreams like now I do, right? And at that time I was watching The Secret and all, like Les Brown, Tony Robbins, all that. Yeah. And then I was in a space and where they were bashing on other religion, but they don't see their downfall, that all the other religion is just connected. It's just that they don't see it. Mm-hmm. And so what ended up happening is like, false gods. And then after that, there was this lady, she was, they're nice people, mm-hmm. but they're really negative mindset. And they were talking about the end of the world, right? Yeah. And I was like, whoa, I'm trying to like live the life that I want and try to create it. I'm not trying to die. So many people die already, right? Yeah. Inside. And I felt uncomfortable with that idea, so I left. It was kind of mean, but I didn't want to be entering that space. And I was in the car with them. There was two people, one Asian, and they were husband. And I was sitting there. I was reading like about money and stuff like that before that, and they were talking about negative about money, like you said in the video. And spiritual people do have a negative connotation towards money. Yeah. And you're right. We have all these negative beliefs and man-made laws. That's why I would put the label The Matrix, because it's similar. Like if we
it is absolutely love The Matrix.
Yeah, I love The Matrix, but it's so similar to what you say, right? Yeah. And thank you so much for like being so open. I can't do that. I was like, wow, this woman's so brave talking about this.
As I said, it took years of layers because like you, I did feel like I should hide that side of me. But finally, it's like, oh, you know what? I want to live a life where I'm not hidden, where I'm just be myself. And the thing I realized as well is that I always sabotage anything that isn't completely what I want to be doing with my life. So where I would have thought I was failing, what I was doing was protecting myself from settling for a life that didn't actually feel good. So even like being in pharmacy and then going bankrupt and all of that stuff, it was me protecting myself from settling into being a pharmacist forever, even though I wasn't happy. So even business, everything, if I stay in anything that I'm not supposed to be in for too long, I sabotage it. So it's just easier if I just be me.
Yeah, Doing you, this is pretty cool. This is a pretty cool interview. I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so how did you get good at social media? And what did you learn how to use all the social media platforms?
Honey, I just try everything. I wouldn't say I'm great at social media. I'll just say that I'm everywhere at the moment. And actually, at the moment, I'm trying to not be everywhere. I think I'm just everywhere. But really, ultimately, it's just repurposing what I do. I have a lot to say. So I just write a lot. I do videos a lot. And then I just put it everywhere. Ultimately, so I'll get somebody else to put it everywhere for me. But really, that's it. I've done stuff. I've worked with coaches and all of this stuff. I hardly ever work with, the only coach I've ever really worked with that was just about strategy was that first property real estate coach. Since then, generally it's mindset and such, but it is usually like I've worked with a coach who was making lots and lots of millions doing online business, but it was mostly about my mind. It's always been about my mind because there's information everywhere about how to do different things. And yes, I used to think I had to teach these different little things like social media and I have lots of courses on all of these areas of life and such, and people get exposed to that in my world. But then at the same time, I recognize this, that even if I teach people exactly what to do, for one, the way that it works for me is not necessarily going to work for everybody because they have to be willing to, one, have this kind of crazy energy and also create like a crazy person. And not everybody wants to create like a crazy person. Not everybody has as many words as I do. So therefore, if I'm trying to teach them my way, which is lots everywhere, then they might not be able to do it. So it's like, no, everybody needs to find their way. You need to be willing to get over this whole perfection thing. Show up. Who are you? Communicate. Because with business, what I say to people is you need to communicate with people. So communicate with your audience. And if you don't have an audience yet, communicate anyway. Communicate everywhere. Social media is such a blessing. We can reach people anyhow for free if we want to. Exactly. It's such a blessing. So start talking. Start telling people what you think. Tell people how you're going to help them. Blah, 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 blah. Communicate. So I do a heck of a lot of communicating for sure. So if I don't have, when you don't have an audience of your own, you go into other people's places. Like here I am. I do have an audience of my own, but it's still cool to actually come to you as well. And, then I'm exposed to a different audience. Anybody can do that. So you can get yourself exposed to different audiences. So you're communicating, then you're capturing people. So then you bring them into your world. Hey, this is where I am. Come over to my world. Come over to my world. Hey, come onto my mailing list. Yay! I have such great stuff for you there, man. So and then you're telling people how you can help them over and over again. So you close them. So I call it the 3 C's: communicate, capture, and close. So you communicate, you capture people, and then you close them. So you're closing them ultimately by the same thing again. Just tell them how you can help them as many times as you need to until they believe you, basically, and decide that they're going to work with you. But in terms of social media, that's the thing. I just communicate a lot. And then sometimes I go around and look at what everybody else is doing and communicate with the people specifically around. So people that I feel could do with being in my world or whatever, or I feel like I would like to attract, I might go and comment on their stuff and all of that kind of thing. But I don't do as much of that as whatever I'd rather create than do that. So I do more creating than doing anything else. But really, that's it. It's a lot of communication. It's a lot of, it's a lot of communication, a little bit of who would I like in my world? Let's go and see what they're up to and see if I can in some way support them. And who knows, they might come and check out what I'm doing. So we start there. And there's a heck of a lot of, there's not a heck of a lot of advertising, but there's a lot of, I do advertising as well to get myself in front of other people. I do guest blogging, all of that kind of stuff to build the audience. So you're always building the audience. You're always building your mailing list. and then you're just repeatedly telling people how you can support them. What is it that you're about? How can you help them? And then you just keep doing that. So that if there's a strategy, that's it. Really, that's it for me. That's what I do over and over and over again, basically.
Okay, thank you so much for that. I can get a sense that you have a skill set of understanding about sales, right? And that's what I want to get at, right? So many people in this, the secret left out or a lot of law of attraction books. That's my message, right? This is my message is because I want to go to a different direction.
Okay.
Because too often we always talk about energy. I know that it's out there, vibration, but we don't put the human connection, right? We don't because I think you know about Grant Cardone, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. 10x.
Yeah,
10x.
yeah, 10x. Yeah, I love him, man. But he taught me how to sell, but to authors. Because basically, authors, every time I exchange email or tweet, it's a negotiation, it's a sell, it's a market or a pitch.
Okay.
But I have to redefine it. So that's what my message is for people. But you do understand how to close, right? And then you say close too. And that's Grant Cardone has a book on close, and that's how I learned how to try to get people to close. And it's
to
really
code. Did you say
close.
Yes, close. Yes.
And the law of attraction with the secret doesn't teach you or market yourself or how to close people. Even though people get afraid of the word sell, but we do all the time, or market.
Yeah, we all do it all the time anyway. I suppose, yes, I get what you're saying, that, yeah, spiritual people, law of attraction people, whatever, they don't always want to look at the action, I suppose, side of things. I must admit, for my community, I did a heck of a lot of, come on, massive action, 10x, everything! Ultimately. So I did start there. And I realized, you know what? People in my community, they work hard. They already work hard. I worked hard. It's not that we weren't working hard. It's that we still didn't believe that we could have the stuff. So yes. And now, okay, yeah. So I personally felt particularly that the divine was calling me to, honey, you need to stop just working hard like a crazy person and actually get the energy and all of that kind of things right. Because I still work, well, compared to a lot of people, you can come into my world, you would think I'm still working as hard as I was before the divine said this to me. But then at the same time, I'm coming from a different place rather than, oh my gosh, I have to, I'm now more of a, what's the aligned thing to do next, basically. But then at the same time, I also know that I have a foundation in that I know what I need to do. And that is what a lot of people don't always know. So so I have to be careful that when I'm talking about, raising, I talk a little bit about vibration, but it's more about, connecting with source and all that kind of stuff. When I talk about that I don't leave out, there is still action to be taken. You still do need to take aligned action. That you still need to do some certain things. So like communicate, capture, and close. And okay, I don't have specific crazy sales strategies for whatever. I tried to read Grant Cardone's book on this and I got bored to death. So, but I loved his 10x and I loved his what's it called? Be obsessed or be average. Oh my gosh, I love that. I listened to the both of them repeatedly. So, but then at the same time, I recognized as well, however, that I want to make sure it's aligned. So I'm not just doing it for the sake of doing it, but I need to make sure that spiritual people particularly realize, just tell people what you're doing. Tell people repeatedly what you're about. I don't have fancy sales techniques or anything like that. I will tell you so many times that you will either leave my community because you're fed up of hearing it, or you will buy. Basically, it's one or the other. And if you're not one of my people, I'd rather you did leave the community So I don't hold back. I send numerous emails. I put out lots of stuff out there, and I'm telling people and telling people and telling people, this is how I can help you. This is why you must have this. This is how you need to move, blah, 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 blah. And that to me is ultimately my sales technique. It is just keep showing up, keep telling people. And that's what I want people to do. But that sometimes people don't do that because they get scared and, am I being a burden? No, if you believe in what you have, you tell people as many times as they need to hear it to actually take you up on it. And that is my belief system here. I have something amazing. If you don't get it, your life is just, seriously, how could you not get it? Basically, that is what I think. That is my mindset. And so I just keep showing up, and I keep telling people, and I keep telling people, and I keep telling people. Some don't like it. I don't open any more emails from people telling me. So you know how when they unsubscribe, they sometimes tell you, they try to give you their opinion. And I'm just like, honey, you're not my person. I don't even need to read your opinion. It's okay. I love you. Now you move on. I am carrying on, and I will continue to tell the people that I am called to how I can support them. Because if I don't, I'm doing them a disservice. And so I must keep speaking. So that to me is my biggest sales strategy right here. It literally is just tell them more than anybody else on the planet will ever tell them. So ultimately, wear them down. Sorry.
You already told me on you already. You're right. You know, that's what I've been trying to convey the message of. I don't care what people have to say about the law of attraction. I'm going to sell them what I'm going to believe in my service, because I believe that there's more than just law of attraction. There's more than, vibration. That's why
there is more. There is more for sure. There's even more than just the law of attraction, because sometimes people latch onto that because they're scared. I don't know, because I suppose they're hoping that, again, it's the 3-second thing. If I just do this 1, 2, 3, then suddenly my whole life will change. But it's no, we're more powerful than that. If you do this 1, 2, 3 thing, but then you spend the rest of your day doing who knows what, then the rest of your day also has a say in it, basically. So I get it. Yeah, there is more than just the law of attraction, for sure. I don't even talk about the law of attraction as such at all. I know what it is. And I can see how it even relates to all my beliefs and all of that anyway. So it always felt right to me. But I also know that there's more to it. There's more to it than just, I don't know. There's more to it than just that, ultimately. So yeah, but yeah, I agree with you. There's more to it. And there is action to be taken. We just need to make sure it's aligned action, not just struggle. I really don't believe we were here when put on this earth to struggle. I do believe, however, sometimes that the transition from a place of only knowing struggle to a place of ease, where you're doing the things that you do because it feels aligned to you, there can be a struggle in the middle, because it's scary to drop, I just need to work hard and work hard and work hard, to, okay, what is the aligned thing? And sometimes the aligned thing is do nothing, actually. Sometimes it is to do something, but it's not allowing fear to determine what you do or don't do. There is always something to be done, even if that something is nothing. But sometimes for people like me, doing nothing is quite scary. It feels like, what do you mean do nothing? And trust? What do you mean, man? So it's learning anyway, that sometimes it is actually, the action is to do nothing. But a lot of the time, there is an actual action, and not to allow fear to stop you from taking that action. So yeah, I'm moving forward. And yeah, as you continue, you will attract to you everything that you desire. Absolutely. There's no doubt in my mind about that. But you need to put yourself in the path to receive this stuff, ultimately. And your actual physical action puts you in that path. So what was it? I was reading somewhere about a feminine and a masculine energy. And so lots of people are doing the feminine thing, which is, we're just going to sit here and receive. And then a lot of other people are only doing the masculine thing. I'm going to make it happen. 10x, 10x, 10x. But maybe we want to combine the both. So there's a marriage of the feminine and the masculine. And that will then lead to what you desire.
Yeah. When you say like do nothing, that's a lot of no for a lot of entrepreneurs.
It
They don't.
is.
But yeah, yeah. What you say is true. Physical action is required,
Yeah,
right?
it is required.
Yeah, it's so many times like you're right. There are things will come to you, but you have to take the action.
Yeah,
It's a
create some
different.
channels for things to come to you. It's helpful if you try to create a few channels for things to come to you. So that would be good. So yeah,
Yeah,
take some action.
thank you so much for your energy. You've been great. You've been great.
Cool.
Well, you develop a program that I want to help promote. Uh, that's why I ask these questions to help promote your work. Uh,
Okay.
how? Oh yeah, the deliberate success incubator. What is it about, and how can it benefit people? Well,
Hello.
okay,
Are you
cool.
still there? Oh yeah, you're still there. Okay.
Okay,
She suddenly went dead.
okay, yeah, okay. So yeah, the deliberate success incubator. What is it about, and how can it
You know
benefit?
what? Everything's changed since then. I should have told you about this, shouldn't I? It's the Opulence Circle now. So
Uh,
the Opulence Circle is what I'm doing at the moment. Okay, yeah. I'll just talk about the Opulence Circle. Okay, so the Opulence Circle is what I mentioned actually earlier on in our conversation. So it's a mastermind. It's a gathering. I call it the gathering of the deliberate people. It's a place where where everything you need to create great relationships, to have great health, to increase your income, whether it's in business or even in a career, but doing things that you actually want to do. I'm not really into working with people that just want to do something for the money, but I want people to make money as well as live to their true design. I think you can have the best of both worlds. So I don't really settle for, oh, I just need money though. Okay, I recognize that when you come to work with me to begin with, you might be doing something just for money, but we want to transition you into doing something because you want to do it and at the same time making a heck of a lot of money. I do believe that if you want a lot of money, you should hold out for it. If you don't want that much money, that's fine too. You can have a prosperous life, whatever that looks like for you, and that's the important thing for each individual person. So the Opulence Circle, I love opulence. I love the word opulence. The Opulence Circle. Have I lost you again? I think it's gone stuck again.
it's okay.
You're still there. Okay. Yeah, the Opulence Circle ultimately is that place. It's that place where you can come into. It's mostly it's run from a Facebook group at the moment, but at the same time, when you join the Opulence Circle first, you'll get this 10-part Deliberate Life Method series, which I talk you through the different little steps that you take in order to live an opulent life, in order to live a prosperous life, okay? And what that means, the simple little habits that you put into your life that will make a heck of a lot of difference. Just like I mentioned at the beginning, that when you do these little things over a period of time, and I am there every single day encouraging you, I'm there giving you new ways of thinking, I'm doing live streams in the group, I do live with people, literally I do live. The great thing about social media, again, is that you can literally do little videos of your life all the way through, so you kind of come back into someone's life all the way through. So if you're a member of the circle, you'll get my little snippets, what I'm doing with the children, what I'm doing here, share a little thought with you, all of this stuff, because I know what it's like to be trying to make a transition. Be trying to make a transition from thinking in a negative kind of way to I am going to deliberately design my life. You need that ongoing support. You need that ongoing encouragement. You need somewhere that you can ask a question and get a personal answer rather than just some usual group programs that hardly do you see the person that is actually running the program. But I am committed to the personalization of whatever I do, that people are able to ask questions about whatever situation in their life, because a lot of people just don't have anybody that can give them a different way of looking at life. They just don't have that. Because everybody around you is thinking the same way, acting the same way. So you're all getting the same results and you're trying to break free and you're talking to people who don't get it. So they think, yeah, but you're fine. What do you want that for? Then you come into a group like mine, the Opulence Circle, I get you and I help you see this is what we can do to move you forward. And when you're feeling crap, it doesn't matter because I can support you through that. I can help you see that there's a different way. You don't have to stay feeling that way. Let's change that, because as we change that, you're also open to more prosperity. What action can you take? Because, you know, we still take some aligned action, right? So, and all of that stuff. So it's a very, I've made it so that people can get a personal experience, even though it's a group program. Okay, so it's a group program, so it can be accessible to as many people as possible, because as I mentioned at the beginning, I have this vision, Project 334K. I am committed to reaching at least 334,000 people, getting them living life deliberately, living to their true design, because I really do believe that we can make a difference when we're each doing what we're born to do, when we're each living as we're born to live. So I want to make it accessible to people wherever they are on the planet, so that it's not crazy expensive, but yes, you still have to make a decision to be part of it. So it will never be free. You will have to pay a little something, because that shows me, it's a swap of energy, isn't it? That shows me that you're serious about change, and you also showing yourself that you're committed to change. So the Opulence Circle, I am so excited about it. Basically. So that is it. Sorry, I have to give you the link to that. I forgot that I mentioned the Deliberate Success Incubator. It's switched over and everything changed. So Opulence Circle is what it is, ultimately.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah, you're right. But also, I have this thing too, right? How can you get people when they don't want to? They want everything for free, right? And you want people who are interested in buying your program. How do you deal with those people?
Nah, just don't. I don't. It's like, well, okay. If you want this is the price. That's it. If you don't want it, that's fine. I provide a heck of a lot of free stuff, so you can go and make your way through the free stuff. But ultimately, if you want to do life with me, if you want the energy that I bring, if you want specific support, then you come into the Opulence Circle. I kind of I got done with just humoring people's weakness. Now, I'm not saying because I know that people aren't weak, I don't humor weakness. So when people say to me, "Oh, but this and this," and it's like, no, honey, if you're serious, because I know what I had to do, and I know how accessible I make what I do. So I know that anyone who is serious can do it. I've created it that way. I've priced it that way, okay, for that reason, so that nobody can tell me, oh, but, no. I love you, honey. But when you're serious about change, then come on in. But at the moment you're not, and that's fine. You don't have to be. You're free will. But don't tell me stories. Basically. So I don't really humor stories, truth be told. I get stories, but it's just like, yeah, well, okay, that's fine. You carry on. I have a lot of free stuff. Please, avail yourself of it, because even the free stuff will help you. You just need to kind of pick through it yourself. That's fine. But if you want my personal attention and you want my personal support, then you come into the circle or you work with me one-on-one. And yeah, that's a swap of energy. I want to make sure that you're in there for a good reason and you're in there committed to change. And so, yeah, I do want you to pay something. That's it.
So powerful. Thank you so much. Thank you. You were talking about a little bit about fear, and I want to touch on fear too. Did you have any fear, or how did you overcome it? Because you also say in the video that we should not let fear control us.
Yeah. How do I overcome it? You keep banging your head against it. I suppose there is that. There is that. Ultimately, when it comes down to, you're going to have to take the action that you're scared of taking, and you just do it enough times, you stop being scared of it. But then there's the other side of it, is what are you scared of? So you want to look at where did that come from? All of that stuff. But I do a lot of using my imagination to really, imagination and connection with source, to ask, is there a root that I need to clear? Is there some healing work I need to do here? So I do the internal work around it, but then also it's just, well, sometimes fear actually points you in the direction you need to go. So that can be a blessing in disguise. So if you're feeling fearful, it could be because you need to move that way. So maybe you just need to do it. I remember when I was building my property business, I used to sit in my car and shout, "She who dares wins! She who dares wins! She who dares wins!" And then I'd run to the vendor's house before I had time to think about it. So, and so forward, and then I do whatever I needed to do, because once I get going, it's fine. It's just the anticipation of it sometimes is a fearful thing. So I chant that, affirm myself, and run to the task, run to it. So that was the way I used to do it originally. Now, yeah, I'm looking at the deeper roots of things, and but still, when it comes down to it, you just got to do it. You just got to do it, man. Just gotta do it. That's it. So yeah, that was it. I made the decision that I wasn't going to allow fear, and I still have to make that decision every day, because there's still things that scare me. I can't think of anything immediately, but there's still things that scare me. Even sometimes just going on a live stream. Before I go on a live stream, I'm a bit scared. But it's like, is that going to stop me? No, I'm just going to do it anyway, basically. And I go do it, and that's it. And that's really it. It's just put myself out there. If there's a deeper issue, because the same fear keeps showing up, then I will heal that. Then I will do the work around that. But mostly, just show up. Just, okay, the life that I desire is more important to me than feeling this fear. So I'm going to do the thing. I'm just going to do the thing. Just going to do the thing. Going to do the thing. And that literally is it.
Okay, thank you. Have you done motivational speaking yet?
Have I done any?
Yeah.
No, I know I am, but so when I do speaking, so yeah, people end up being motivated. But I hope they also take some good stuff away as well as motivated. But I know I carry this energy. And that is part of my magic power. I know it just helps people feel as if they can do things, which is why it's like, if you work with me closely, then yeah, I do inspire you. I do motivate you to move forward, because I carry this energy of possibility. And I recognize that in myself. I've seen it happen time and time again with clients. And yeah, it's part of the magic. It's part of the magic that is RNK, ultimately.
How you define winning for you? And so many people think winning is competition, right? Or also spiritual people too, because
Yeah.
but over the past this year, I have interviewed people. The winning is different. It's happiness for the family, um, for what they do, the craft.
Yeah.
What is yours?
For me, winning would be living to my full, true design, doing the thing that I'm here to do. That would be winning. I don't really care. I don't compare it to anybody else's. It may not look like anybody else's. It doesn't matter. What matters to me is that I get to the end of my life and I know that I did all that I was here to do, all that I wanted to do, that I created all that I wanted to create. I have an affirmation that I love to sing, which I'm now going to sing at you, basically. Are you ready for this? Okay. Okay. I choose to live out my calling. I choose to live out my calling. I choose to live out my calling. I will not die with my music in me. I will not die with my music in me. So that is an affirmation. That's, I would say, is the anthem of the Opulence Circle as well, is that I will live out my calling. So we're all saying, I choose to live out my calling. I will not die with my music in me. And that for me is winning. Whatever that looks like for any individual person, whether that's lots of money, little money, whether it's happiness with family, as well as health and all that stuff, whatever it looks like for each person, what is your music? Which doesn't have to be actual music. What is the thing that you feel called to do? What is the thing that you feel your life is to be about? You want, by the time you get to the end, that you've done it all, you've experienced it all, you have lived to the fullness of you. That is winning. That is winning to me.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. First time I hear listening to a song someone sing on an interview before. That's awesome. That's pretty awesome. I can tell you have a very creative sense. Throughout this talk, you're a very creative person. Because as entrepreneurs, as people, as creators,
yeah,
but,
yeah, we're creators. Yes,
we lost a sense of that, right? We don't do exotic or because we're afraid of being judged. We're afraid of people will be, we're weird or whatever. But it's awesome to be unique like yourself. And also, what is your passion in life and what you love to do?
Project 334K is my biggest passion. That is my
Mhm.
biggest passion in life. It literally is to empower 334,000 people at least to live to the fullness of their potential. That is my passion. How that plays out is that I want to do it using things like speaking and singing and writing. So those, I suppose, those three things: speaking, singing, writing. Those are the things that I know I love, love, love to do. Particularly talking. I do like talking. So ultimately, I do love coaching and teaching, I suppose. But even coaching and teaching to me is kind of falls under the speaking and writing, ultimately. So it's those three things: singing, speaking, writing. Those are my passion things that I like to do. And I funnel that into my Project 334K, which is the vision that drives me. It's the thing that even on the bad days, it's like, oh, but there's 334,000 people at least on this planet who, okay, yes, a few of them have heard my voice, but there's a lot of them that haven't heard me yet. I need to keep going until I have reached all of them. I know the number will get bigger. As I reach them, it'll be like 1 million or something. But but that's it. That is it. It is building this community of deliberate people. That is my big passion, and being all that I know to be, to help them, to support them, to help them see that they are powerful, to help them see that we are created in the image and likeness of the divine. And these are not just words, it is a real thing, that we are limitless if we will tap into that power. And so that drives me like no man's business. So yes, I don't always think of myself, because you talk about creativity and people think of art and music, and I suppose I have to talk about singing, but I don't always think of myself as creative in that way. But I am. But yeah, we're all creative. We're all creative, whatever it is that we are good at doing. And sometimes people with, well, I suppose familiarity breeds contempt. You forget your own thing. You forget what you're good at as you start to take it for granted and think everybody can do it. I was watching America's Got Talent, actually, and there was this guy that just twists his body in all kinds of weird directions. But, and he was like, I used to think everybody could do it. And then he realized he was unique. And that's the same with everybody. Everybody has a thing that they think everybody can do, but actually they alone can do it. And I suppose I want to wake them up to that. I want to wake them up to the fact that, no, you're here for a reason. I have this vision of, yeah, this Project 334K, but one of the reasons of that is I almost had this download of a jigsaw puzzle. And a jigsaw puzzle comes with so many different pieces, right? And each of those different pieces are different shaped. When you put them together, the beautiful picture comes out. When those jigsaw pieces, those pieces, if you give them to a baby and they chew them and they destroy them, the picture will never be complete. So people are jigsaw pieces or jigsaw puzzle pieces. And as they start living to their true design, as they stop trying to file down and be like everybody else, and instead own their uniqueness, the picture of the world gets complete, because each person fits where they fit, instead of, oh, we're all supposed to fit, or we're all supposed to be round jigsaw puzzle pieces. No, you're not all supposed to be round. You're supposed to be wonky and strange in your own strange way. Allow it to come through, because that version of strange fits with that other person's version of strange, which then fits with that person's version of strange. And then you all join together, and next thing you know, it's such a glorious picture. And the world as we know it, because there's so much happening on the world right now. I keep going, you can stop me anytime, but there's so much happening on the world right now. I'm not one for watching the news or anything like that. I know some spiritual people at the moment are all getting like, we should all know what's happening. And I'm like, I don't want to know, because it doesn't matter what is happening. The only reason why this stuff is happening is because people like you and I need to wake up and start living to our true design. We're not still looking to some government official or some politician to change things. No, it starts with individual people realizing that they're more powerful than they thought, and starting to live to that power. And then the world will change. We don't need to listen to the news to know that, to know anything. We don't need that. What we need is people, empowered people, stepping up. And then the only reason why anybody can do anything crazy out there in the world is because empowered people haven't stood up and taken their place. And so that is my passion, is to empower people to rise up take their place, step up to who they are born to be. Because as they do it, each person is one person, and they may think, it's just me though, what difference can I make? You don't know the impact or the influence, the whole butterfly effect, just you rising up. You don't know whose life you're going to impact, and whose life they're going to impact because of you, and whose life they're going to impact because of you. So you may think, oh, my vision is not big enough. That's nonsense. Just live to your true design. If people will live to their true design, we won't have room for crazy politicians or anybody else, because they're just doing what people have created room for them to do. But if we rise up as empowered people, start changing our communities, our families first, then our communities, then our nations, then none of this stuff will happen. We don't need to pay attention to the news. We need to make the news, okay? We need to be the news, not listening to the news, ultimately. So anyway, yes, that is me. And that is my passion. That is what drives me. That is what keeps me awake, that puts me to bed late and rises up early, and all of this stuff. It is to change people's lives. If I can get at least 334,000 people living life deliberately, I know that even the world will change, okay? It's also for my daughters. I have 3 daughters. I want them to know that they can do whatever they set their mind to. I want them to see me and to know that they too can do whatever they set their mind to. So yeah, they also are in there somewhere, like, okay, I will keep moving forward, whatever. I will not die with my music in me. The end.
I was saying, holy crap. So, I love it. Thank you for sharing. Like, I feel like I've been blessed with interviewing you. Right?
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then you're just a wonderful,
Thanks.
I want to say it. You have this light within you that you want to share with the world, because you're right. I don't watch the news, and I think that's a terrible way to wake up to. I think people watch at night and they watch in the morning. It's terrible.
Exactly. It's not great. It's not good.
It's negative. It doesn't help you define your future. It doesn't help you to move forward. Like you
just
said,
makes angry people. It just makes angry people. That's it. They're just angry people who can't do anything because, okay, you're listening to something that's happening on the other side of the planet. What are you going to do about it? You can't. You feel helpless. You're listening to this stuff. You get angrier and angrier. You take it out on your children, because that anger has to come out somewhere, because ultimately you're frustrated because you can't do anything. So I'm not sure how it helps to spend so much time knowing. The truth is, with social media, you pick up on what you need to know, and everything else, just let it go. Let it go. Just concern yourself with living to the fullness of your potential, your true design. That is the key. I just think for everyone, that is the key. If everybody just rise up, doesn't matter what's happening, the news will disappear. There won't be anything to report on, basically.
You did kind of touch on it, but I wanted, I guess, to go deeper a little bit. Where did drive come from? Because you did touch it, but I was like, wow, like, where does it come from? Where's this? Like, how did it bubble up?
I don't know, honey. I think everybody has it, surely. It's just natural to me. I've always had this, I don't know, even from when I was a little girl. I used to teach people spiritual principles. It was more Christian principles when I was a little girl. I was choir mistress and all of this stuff. And I used to lead this posse of people. I suppose we all felt slightly, we're not popular kids. We're just regulars. We don't always feel like we belonged anywhere. But I led this group of people. We just used to do our thing. So I suppose since then, I've always done it. I've always gathered people around me and empowered them to do more than they thought they could do. I don't know. It's just natural. It's just who I am. I forgot for a season because I felt as though I'd failed completely. And that was between bankruptcy and waking up 4 years later. But apart from that, I've always done it. I've always done it. So whatever situation I find myself in, I'd always somehow gather some certain people around me and try and support them and pull them up and this and that and the other. It just happens. It just happens. But I got more deliberate about it when I suddenly realized that actually this is my thing. This is my thing. And I've always had that passion to help people see what they're capable of. Always. I just didn't think that I could make a profession of it. It didn't seem, if there was any part of being a pharmacist that I liked, it was actually sitting down with people in a consulting room and showing them how they can make the most of their medication. And if you did this, maybe you don't need as much of that. And and that was the only time, because I could actually speak directly to people's lives. That was the only thing I liked. I didn't like medication, really. So ultimately, so the medication side of it was like, oh, so I'm sure there's another way. We don't have to do this, but hey, this is my job for right now. But at least I can find out what's happening with their life and see if there's something I can suggest to them to help them get past all the nonsense. So even that was the only part of being a pharmacist that I like, was actually consulting with people. But and so it's natural. I don't know. It's just it's me. It's who I am. It's who I've always been. I thought everybody was that way, but I'm not sure that they are. It's one of those things that, familiarity again. It's just who I've always been. You think everybody's like that, but you realize actually, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not. Maybe it is your thing. I don't know. So yeah, I think it's my thing. That is my thing. I just always been this way. I've always known that I've always wanted to support people in empowering them somehow. I couldn't have always been this clear about it, but that's what I've always done. Because I spent a heck of a lot of time looking back over my life and realizing it's what I've always done. What I've always found a way of gathering around people around me and that I want to support. It's just always the way.
Well, I would like to say thank you for being you.
No, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. And two more questions. And what does success look like to you? Because it looked like almost the same as winning. But
yep. It is exactly the same as winning. I would say that's kind of exactly the same question to me. It's the same thing. It is, you define success. Each person, that definition is different for each person. But you just want to make sure you get to the end of your life and know that you achieved that for you. For you. Not anybody else's definition of it. For you. Okay? That's the thing, is to make sure that you're living life according to what feels good to you. Not what the world determines as success. Not what you think it has to look like. What feels good to you. That's the key.
Thank you so much for that. That's so beautiful. The reason why I asked that, because so many people, so many of the world, so many, we've been programmed by, society, teachers, peers, friends.
Yeah.
Parents. We believe about success in their, projection of success.
Yeah.
But it's never what we actually wanted, right?
No.
So that's why I keep asking the same question, because dug deeper to what people actually, what they're saying, not what they're projecting to say, but what their hearts say, not what their parents or whatever they wanted.
Yeah, absolutely. They need to find out for themselves what is success. And sometimes that's an uncovering. Like I mentioned earlier, that I've gone through lots of different phases of life where then I take off a layer and realize, okay, no, there's a deeper layer to me. Then I take off another layer and realize, no, there's a deeper layer to me. And that's the same for people. Sometimes people, it's like, I wrote a post earlier today about the fact that who right now would ask a 16-year-old for life advice, for career advice? Okay, they'd have to be a very unique 16-year-old. But generally, you don't go to a 16-year-old for vocational advice. And yet, people are still living as their 16-year-old self. So you made a decision at 16, 18 years old that this is going to be my career. You're now 30, 35, 25, 45. You're still doing it because you made a decision at 16. You may not still want that. That may not no longer be the definition of success for you. Leave it alone. It's okay. You can change. Okay. And so it's like being aware. So I do write out my goals quite a lot of the time, if not every single day. I'm writing out my goals. And if something doesn't feel good to me anymore, then it's taken off the list. It doesn't always look the same every day at all, because I'm writing down what I feel like today. And that's what people need to get into the habit of, recognizing that we're always expanding. So your definition of success 10 years ago may not be your definition of success today. And it's okay. You don't need to be committed to your old self. You can be committed to your new self, okay? You can change. So success may be an ever expanding reality. Allow it to be. Don't be stuck in, well, I said I was going to be this when I was 17, so I'm going to be this for the rest of my life. Why? Ultimately, because I've had clients before who are scared of changing their career because it's like, but I spent so much money and I went to college and I got this debt, for goodness sake, and now you're telling me what? And my parents, they paid so much out for me, and now what? I can change? Yeah, you can change, honey. You can change. You don't have to stay stuck forever. That was a stepping stone. Now move on to the next level of success for you. Don't stay stuck. You feel it inside of you. You feel that this doesn't fit anymore. Oh, listen to yourself. Trust yourself. Find a different way. Move into the next level for you. So yes, success ultimately is an ever-expanding definition for each individual person. You want to allow yourself to keep defining it.
Yes, you're right. Thank you so much for that. What you say is so true because we get stuck in believing that is the path, right? Or we believe that if we're set on the path, that means our future is written in stone.
Exactly. But it's
And
not.
so, no, it's not. And so many people believe that,
Yeah.
and always try to go back to the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
I remember I always try to what was it? Try to go back to the past in my mind where it was great, but we also often forget that the future can be greater, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah, and
Exactly. Your best is yet to come, man.
yeah, wow,
Yes. So it is about moving forward and allowing yourself freedom to explore different ways, really.
yeah, you have so beautiful energy. Ah,
Thank
so
you.
you're welcome. So where can we find you on social media? I mean, I know that you're everywhere, but can you?
I would say Facebook, stroke, Instagram. Those are the places, the best two places to find me, which is not where you found me at all. But but it is. Those are the best two places to find me. Is Facebook, my profile, stroke my Facebook page, which is Rosemary Nonny Knight, or Rosemary N Knight is my profile. So those two places is where I'm pretty active. And Instagram as well is where I am as well. So those are the two places to be. So Rosemary Nonny Knight, in any of these places, you'll find me. And yeah, so, and in terms of my website, it's rosemarynonnyknight.com to get a free book, Freedom Book. Freedom Book. Everybody needs the Freedom Book. It was an Amazon bestseller, which I'm now giving away for free. So they can get the Freedom Book at rosemarynonnyknight.com/free guest. So rosemarynonnyknight.com/free guest. So they go and get the book. I'll probably send these links to you, so put it somewhere around this, basically. And then and then yeah, and that's it. That's where I am. That's where I am. So come and find me. It's always fun to get to know new people.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Yeah, because I use Twitter a little bit different from most people. I use it to engage with authors.
Cool.
And,
Excellent.
okay, guys, that is it for today. I have she's amazing, and I'm glad that she did the interview today, and it was pretty awesome. Oh my God, the energy! Yeah! Subscribe to my channel, watch my video, and I'll see you guys next time.